Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Manspeaker.
I first and foremost want to thank everybody for their comments this evening. We live in a world that 20 years ago, I bet half of you, or maybe even a quarter of you, or 75% wouldn't have wanted to speak tonight because you would have put your life at risk. We live in a world that continually people's lives are put at risk because of who they love. And I find that to be tragic. And you all are very courageous to stand up here this evening and to give us your opinion about this subject, and I commend you for that. I grew up in kind of an interesting household, pretty traditional in terms of what most Americans think. I have a mother and a father who've been married for, I think, a little over 40 years now. And I remember growing up at my grandfather's house, who native Topekan his whole life, and his best friend was an African-American homosexual man. I never understood that he was any different than anyone else sitting at our table at Thanksgiving. I knew him to be a homosexual African-American man, but I never separated him from my family and from who we were as people. I have to disagree with Mr. Irrigonagwai. I believe there are people in this audience that are different, but they're not different to me. They're human beings, and they have blood in their veins and breath in their air in their lungs, and they have love in their hearts, and it's not recognized. Is this symbolic? I hope so. I hope it's a step in the right direction. And from my perspective, and I'll be happy to say this, I'm pro-marriage equality, period, end of story. Domestic Partner Registry is a great thing, but the big step is to make sure that everybody has the rights, the same rights, under the law, period, end of story. I've heard about this moral high ground that we need to take. I've read about it in emails and different places and letters to the editor. I don't know whose morality this is. I don't know who judges what's right and what's wrong. I think as individuals, that right is left to us to make those decisions. I've also heard, don't do this for a minority of our citizens. Well, I'm confused if that's the case that people feel, because American government, U.S. government, was set up to protect the minority. That's why we have 3 branches of government. The majority doesn't have the opportunity to overrun everybody in this country. There are channels to make sure that minorities are protected, to make sure that if your skin color is not the same as somebody else's, you are protected. If your gender is not the same as somebody else's, you are protected. And that's the government we should have. We have an opportunity to make that happen here tonight. Many in our country, our state, experience inequality every single day. Inequality based on skin color, inequality based on gender, inequality based on religion. We have a chance to strike a blow against that inequality here tonight. I will be supporting this measure, and I hope that you all do as well.